Welcome back, everybody. I'm Simon Carver.
And I'm Billy Galligan. And the 2026 FIFA World Cup is over.
Spain are world champions.
Spain are world champions. For the second time, 16 years after their first. And what a tournament it was. 39 days, 104 matches, 48 teams, 3 host nations, 6,810,966 fans through the turnstiles at a 99.7% occupancy rate. The largest World Cup ever staged, and it delivered on every single promise it made.
Where do we even start?
We start where it all began, Mexico City, June the 11th. The opening game, Mexico versus South Africa. And before most people had finished their pre-match snack, 3 players had been sent off. 3 red cards in the opening game, the most ever in a World Cup opener. South Africa finished with 9 men, Mexico with 10, and somehow normal football broke out and Mexico won 2-0. The tournament announced itself immediately.
This is not going to be a quiet, polite, well-behaved World Cup.
It was not. From that moment to the final whistle in New York 39 days later, barely a day passed without a story worth telling. And the disciplinary story ran all the way through. 15 red cards in total across the tournament, 13 of them straight reds, more than the previous 3 World Cups combined. FIFA's strict new rules on dissent, time-wasting and dangerous play changing the face of the game. It started with 3 red cards. It ended with 1. Enzo Fernandez in the final, sent off in stoppage time, leaving Argentina with 10 men and ultimately costing them the World Cup.
From 3 in the first game to 1 in the last. The tournament bracketed by red cards.
Let's talk about the format first, because it shaped everything. 48 teams for the first time, 3 host nations, the United States, Canada, and Mexico, sharing duties across 16 venues. A new round of 32 before the traditional last 16. More games, more nations, more stories.
Critics said it would dilute the quality. They were wrong.
3.05 goals per game, a historic average. The expanded format didn't water down the football. It gave more nations a seat at the table, and most of them used it brilliantly. Curaçao making their debut, Uzbekistan at their first tournament, Cape Verde on the biggest stage for the first time, DR Congo back as themselves rather than Zaire for the first time since 1974.
And speaking of Cape Verde, we have to talk about Cape Verde.
A nation of 500,000 people, making their World Cup debut. And they held Spain, eventual world champions, to a 0-0 draw in the group stage. Their goalkeeper Vozinha making save after save, and his mother almost couldn't make it to the tournament because of the visa fees, until the US State Department stepped in and waived them after public pressure. She flew to Miami to watch her son play.
And then, in the round of 32, Argentina, the world champions, ranked first in the world against Cape Verde, ranked 67th.
Sidney Cabral's goal in the 103rd minute. A curling strike from the edge of the box, end to end, that went viral within minutes. The greatest goal scored by a player nobody outside Cape Verde had heard of, against the greatest player who ever lived, in extra time of a knockout game. It leveled the match at 2-2, and for about 8 minutes, Cape Verde were on the verge of the greatest upset in World Cup history.
And then an own goal broke their hearts. 3-2 Argentina. Cape Verde out. But the story lives forever.
And there's an Irish footnote that I will never tire of mentioning. Pico Lopez, Irish-born, plays for Shamrock Rovers in the League of Ireland, was outstanding at centre-back throughout Cape Verde's campaign. A man from Crumlin in Dublin playing against Lionel Messi in a World Cup knockout game. And Joey Anang of St. Patrick's Athletic, reserve goalkeeper for Ghana. 2 League of Ireland players at a World Cup. Something to be enormously proud of.
Now, the upsets. Because this tournament had more than its share.
Germany out in the round of 32 to Paraguay on penalties. 4-time world champions. Gone. Julian Nagelsmann losing his job as a result.
The Netherlands beaten by Morocco on penalties. A shootout featuring posts, crossbars, a goalkeeper saving a penalty and accidentally deflecting it in off his own heel, one of the most chaotic shootouts ever recorded. And the man who scored the winning penalty for Morocco? Saibari, who plays his club football in the Netherlands and was their player of the year at PSV Eindhoven.
Brazil beaten by Norway 2-1 in the quarterfinals. Haaland with both goals in the final 10 minutes. Neymar scoring what was possibly his last ever international goal, a consolation penalty, as the cameras lingered on him at the final whistle.
And the Algeria-Austria 3-3. If we never speak of another game in this tournament, we speak of that one.
Austria scored first, Iran in. Algeria equalized, Iran out. Austria scored again, Iran in. Algeria equalized, Iran out. Both teams settling into a draw that suited them both. And then, Algeria scored in the last minute. Iran in, Austria out. And then, Austria equalized with literally the last kick of the game. Iran in, out, in, out, in and out again in the space of 4 minutes of stoppage time.
All of this carrying the shadow of the 1982 disgrace of Gijon, the infamous game where West Germany and Austria conspired to eliminate Algeria. 44 years later, same teams, same situation. Algeria tried to win it. Football had the last laugh.
Now the political side. Because this tournament didn't happen in a vacuum.
The Falklands. After Argentina beat England in the semi-final in Atlanta, some Argentine players unfurled a banner reading Las Malvinas son Argentinas. The Falkland Islands are Argentine in a World Cup semi-final. The diplomatic fallout is still reverberating between Buenos Aires and London.
Donald Trump. The President of the United States was the invisible presence throughout the tournament, attending one game, the final, while his administration's tensions with Iran overshadowed that team's campaign, with players under tight restrictions entering the country while new rounds of bombing continued while the tournament was still going on.
And then the Balogun incident. America's striker sent off against Bosnia, suspension unilaterally overturned by a FIFA committee member from the UAE without proper process. The controversy never went away. FIFA's judicial independence questioned. Balogun played against Belgium, barely featured. Belgium won 4-1 anyway.
Gianni Infantino. The FIFA president was everywhere, thousands of miles on a private jet, scores of matches attended, a cozy relationship with Trump drawing complaints from European lawmakers, a formal complaint to the International Olympic Committee alleging breaches of political neutrality, and apparently on course for another term regardless.
The ticket prices, eye-watering. Stadium food, merchandise, car parking, fans felt fleeced across the board. FIFA pointed to the full stadiums as evidence they got pricing right. 6.8 million fans at 99.7% occupancy is hard to argue with. But plenty of ordinary fans were priced out of games they dreamed of attending.
The Powerade hydration breaks. Mandatory. Sponsored. Booed deafeningly in stadiums across 3 nations. FIFA insisted it wasn't profiting from them. The boos suggested the fans weren't convinced.
The halftime show at the final, the first ever at a World Cup. Justin Bieber, Madonna, Shakira, and BTS. 27 minutes, European fans skeptical, American fans enthusiastic. The debate about whether football should borrow more from American sports entertainment will run for years.
Italy didn't qualify. Again. Political outcry in Rome. Russia and China absent. South Korea's early exit triggering a government inquiry. Scotland embarrassing themselves on the pitch, but their fans, the Tartan Army, magnificent off it. Drinking bars dry in Boston, putting traffic cones on statues, taking over Fenway Park, and somehow charming Ron DeSantis in Florida.
Norway's Viking fans doing the iconic rowing celebration everywhere they went. Norway's sport minister joining in on Miami's South Beach. There are worse ways to experience a World Cup.
Now the football, the things that will be talked about for decades.
England versus Mexico at the Azteca, the best game of the tournament.
Bellingham with 2 goals in 2 minutes. England reduced to 10 men. 3-2, backs to the wall for 30 minutes, Mexico with 20 shots and 67% possession. England won. And in doing so, exorcised the ghost of 1986. The last time England played at the Azteca, Maradona's hand of God sent them home. 40 years later, they came back and won with 10 men.
And then England-Argentina in Atlanta, the Falklands, the hand of God, the goal of the century, all of it hanging over every minute of a World Cup semi-final in my co-host's city.
England led 1-0. Argentina equalized. Messi assisted the winner. 2-1. Another late Argentina turnaround. And the Falklands banner followed shortly after.
The Golden Boot race deserves its own chapter.
Messi arrived at this tournament with 13 World Cup goals to his name, 3 behind Miroslav Klose's all-time record of 16. He passed Klose during the tournament, eventually finishing on 21, a new all-time record. But Mbappe had other ideas. Matching Messi goal for goal throughout, he then scored twice in the third-place playoff against England in Miami. His second goal in that game taking him to 22 all-time, surpassing Messi and becoming the greatest scorer in World Cup history. 10 goals in the tournament, 22 in total. The first player to reach double figures in a single World Cup since 1970. And he did it in a bronze medal game, because football delivers its biggest moments whenever it feels like it.
2 all-time records broken in one tournament. Messi breaking Klose's, Mbappe breaking Messi's, in the space of 39 days.
And the third-place game itself. The game nobody wanted to play in. England 4-0 at halftime against France. Saka with a hat-trick. Dembele in the 96th minute. Bellingham with a stunning solo goal in the 98th. 6-4. 10 goals. In a game nobody wanted to play in. Didier Deschamps going out as France manager after 14 years with that scoreline. Football is occasionally very cruel.
Now, the farewells, because this tournament said goodbye to some giants.
Lionel Messi, 39 years old, 6 World Cups, 3 finals, 2014 lost to Germany, 2022 won, 2026 lost to Spain. The all-time leading goal scorer in World Cup history until Mbappe passed him in Miami on Saturday. Walking off the pitch in New York after the final in what is almost certainly his last ever World Cup game.
Cristiano Ronaldo, also at his 6th World Cup. Portugal knocked out by Spain in the last 16. Cameras panning to him on the bench in the closing minutes. At 41 years old, almost certainly his last World Cup. 6 tournaments. Goals in all 6. A record that will stand for a very long time.
And Luka Modric, Croatia out in the round of 16. The 40-year-old midfielder who dragged a nation of 4 million people to 2 World Cup semi-finals and a final, walking off the stage quietly. 3 legends, 1 tournament, the end of an era that football will not see again in our lifetimes.
And into that space steps Lamine Yamal, 19 years old, World Cup winner, the boy in the photograph with Messi, the toddler who grew up to face his idol in a World Cup final and come out on the winning side.
Now, Spain. Let's give Spain their full due, because this was one of the greatest World Cup campaigns ever mounted.
1 goal conceded in 8 games, the fewest ever by a World Cup winning team. Their 38-match unbeaten run continuing, the first nation to simultaneously hold both the men's and women's FIFA World Cup titles.
Rodri winning the Golden Ball, with Messi silver and Mbappe bronze. Unai Simon winning the Golden Glove, 6 clean sheets, the most any goalkeeper has managed at a single World Cup. Pau Cubarsí winning Best Young Player, Ferran Torres scoring the winning goal in the final as a substitute. Mikel Merino scoring decisive late winners against Portugal and Belgium before Torres finished the job in New York.
A team that won their tournament on the goals of their substitutes. The depth of that squad is extraordinary. Spain have won 5 international men's tournaments in 18 years. A footballing superpower doing what footballing superpowers do.
And they host 2030, alongside Portugal and Morocco. with Rabat already reportedly pushing to host the final, which is antagonizing Spain somewhat. Football politics. Never simple, never dull.
The referees. Slavko Vincic from Slovenia selected to referee the final. Ismail Elfath from the USA earning top marks on home soil. Anthony Taylor from England, and Ivan Barton from El Salvador, a tiny nation producing a top-rated World Cup official, which mirrors Cape Verde's story on the pitch beautifully.
Julian Alvarez winning the official Hyundai goal of the tournament. His inch-perfect strike from outside the area against Switzerland. But the people's goal, the one that went viral, the one that will be replayed forever, was Sidney Cabral's curling wonder strike for Cape Verde against Argentina in the 103rd minute.
The final numbers then: 6,810,000 fans, 99.7% occupancy, 3.05 goals per game, 104 matches, 39 days, 48 teams, 3 host nations, 15 red cards, 2 all-time records broken, 1 champion.
I have been watching World Cup since 1978. I was 10 years old, nearly 11, in Shannonbridge with my dad and my uncle, watching Argentina lift the trophy for the first time on a color television. Nearly 50 years of tournaments, and this one, with everything it gave us, belongs in the conversation for the greatest ever.
Cape Verde and Pico Lopes from Crumlin.
Algeria, Austria, 3-3, and Iran's 4 minutes of heartbreak.
England 10 men at the Azteca.
Norway beating Brazil, Paraguay beating Germany, Morocco beating the Netherlands.
Messi breaking Klose's record, Mbappe breaking Messi's.
A third-place playoff that ended 6-4.
And a final decided by a substitute strike 37 seconds into the second period of extra time.
The world has come to play, and it delivered everything it promised, and then some.
From all of us, thank you for listening throughout this tournament. It has been an honor to cover it with you.
From Mexico City on June the 11th to New York on July the 19th. What a journey. What a tournament. What a game.
Spain. World Champions 2026.
See you at Morocco, Spain, and Portugal in 2030. Sure, why not?
Sure, why not indeed. Goodbye, everybody.